Hi everyone, welcome to Thursday. And this week I've been asked to do a review on SkyCity. So we'll do that. Now, just before I share my screen, just remember that this is for educational purposes. It's no way intended to be personalised financial advice. If you're looking for that, you do need to go and have a chat to your own financial advisor. Right, let's take a look at SkyCity and see how that's been performing. I've got SkyCity up here on the screen, and I've actually got this for all, meaning it's the entire period that SkyCity has been trading. So you can see that it started in 2000 by the looks. Let's go back. Yep, it looks like it started in February 2000. Now, it hit a high of around this period here, which was April 2006, and it closed for that day at $5.22. Now, if I keep moving forward, you can see that it has not even got close to those levels since then. Now, these candles, by the way, are showing monthly. Normally, I would have it on the 5-year chart, which would be weekly. You can see that it has been paying regular dividends up until this point here, which was March 2024. That was the last time that a dividend was paid. Now, that can indicate that a share is potentially in trouble if they're not paying out regular dividends, especially on the New Zealand market, not necessarily on the US market. Reason for that is in New Zealand, investors do tend to like to receive that regular cash flow. For a lot of investors, that's why they're investing, is for those regular dividends to help them with their own financial management. Whereas in the US, a lot of companies don't pay their dividends. Instead, they reinvest those profits back into the company to help it grow, and thus the idea is to increase the share price. Let's pop it on the 5-year chart, just simply because it brings these candles up to daily candles. And you can see that it's basically just been in a free fall for such a long time. But if I hover in here, this last candle is last week's. Now, that was a really strong candle, and you can see that by the volume down here. So that's the first positive week we've had for 5 weeks. Then we had a positive week here, which was back in beginning of May. And then look at this, 8 weeks down. So it's not looking that good at the moment, although this last candle has been a good positive one. And you can see that the volume for this was about nearly $44 million worth of shares traded. The candle next to it, which was a down week, that's a comparison of 9.9 million. So a huge amount of volume. So something's happened with SkyCity that investors are obviously liking. Let's go onto the 1-year chart and just see exactly what's happened. And you can see whatever it was that's been announced with SkyCity, you can see that that happened on Friday. And look at that big spike in that volume candle. That's huge. And I've got the moving average, which is a 13-period moving average, on the screen over the volume. So in other words, in the last 13 days, and it's certainly spiked above that. But let's go and put our moving averages on and let's see what they're telling us. So I always use the 30 exponential. Nothing special with these moving average figures. It's what I constantly use. There are people out there that use the 50 and 100. There's the person that I follow, they use the 20 and 200. So it's whatever works for you, but it's about being consistent. So I consistently use the 30 and the 15 exponential moving average. So when you chop and change with those moving averages, that you're going to get different views. Right. So you can see that the moving averages crossed to the downside around the 11th of February this year, and then the share was absolutely tracking down. You can see now, though, that since last week, we've had a good upswing. That 15-day moving average hasn't yet crossed through that 30-day. However, it is swung to the upside, which is really good. And you can see if I zoom in here, that good, positive, strong candle on Friday with excellent volume. Whether we're going to see this continue, only time will tell. But let's have a look at the 5-year chart. Simply because this is obviously brings these candles up to weekly, it's a slower frame, and that is the type of investor I am, or share trader I am. I like to go for medium to longer term holdings. So you can see here that basically those moving averages crossed around August 2021, and really we've been in a free fall since then for SkyCity. And if I zoom in, you can still see that they've started to have that little bit of a trend up, but who really knows if that is going to continue. At this stage, for me, SkyCity would not be something that I would want to be investing in. You've got the share trading below those moving averages. The 15-week moving average is trading beneath the 30-week moving averages. All of those are negatives, and there's too many red candles at this stage for me for SkyCity. I definitely want to be seeing it trending up. I'd want to see those moving averages trending up, and I'd want to see that 15-week moving average above the 30-week moving average. So not something I'd want to have a look at this stage. However, I've been asked to review it. Let's take these moving averages off, and let's also make a comparison against the New Zealand main board. And you can see here, this is the main board being the blue line up the top, and you've got SkyCity. So over the last 5 years, the New Zealand main board has had a positive return of 5.73%, whereas SkyCity has been down 81.88%. So this is another indicator that I would want to see as well. Because SkyCity is listed on our main stock exchange, I would definitely want to be seeing that trading above the main indices. What that means then is that if it's trading above, it means it's certainly one of the contributors to the performance of the New Zealand Stock Exchange. At the moment, it's certainly been a laggard. And in fact, to be honest, that's what I've been finding, is that there are very few companies that are having a positive impact on the New Zealand stock exchange, the overall market. Most of them are being laggards at the moment. So anyway, I'll stop sharing. I really hope that's helped that person that was wanting to look at SkyCity. I hope I've been able to answer all of your questions. If not, let me know, and I'm happy to do another video on it. And just before we conclude, remember, you've got until the 30th of June to make sure you've put in at least $1,043 into your KiwiSaver. This way, it will entitle you to the government's contribution of $260, 25% return on your money. So if you're not in the workforce at the moment, maybe you're taking a break, maternity leave, whatever the reason is, you can still make that voluntary lump sum contribution and still receive the government's tax credits or government's contribution as well. If you want to know anything about that as well, sing out. I'm happy to help. So until next week, take care.